How do you do, fellow kids? James Stacey here with aBlogtoWatch.com and a video review of the Seiko SUN023 Prospex Kinetic GMT diver. So this is actually a watch that I've been thrilled to wear for the last little while. Really interesting piece. I love a good Seiko diver, and what they've done with this generation is offer a lot of benefits for the way that somebody might actually use a watch such as this. What we're looking at is a 48mm wide case. Has kind of this black coating. I'm not entirely sure if it's a dia shield or not. It's not advertised on the site as such. 42mm wide at the bezel, 16mm thick, 51mm lug to lug, which is a remarkably short lug to lug for a watch of this width, which gives it kind of a very interesting way that it wears. On this included nice long rubber strap. You're looking at 154 grams, so a surprisingly low weight for a watch of this size. You also have a sapphire crystal up front, solid case back, and water resistance is your kind of 200 meters, which you would expect from a Prospex diver. Really interesting piece, and one that I was able to take diving in Hawaii and found it to be very useful, not only for diving, but obviously with the GMT mechanism. It makes a great travel watch too. So I think to fully understand the SUN023, your best bet is to kind of compare it with a known quantity. In this case, something like a Seiko SKX 007. This is my model here. I've had this for nearly a decade now. Great watch. This is mechanical, of course. This is kinetic, and I'll get into the movement in a moment. But just in terms of size and kind of the direction Seiko's going with dial design. Now, this watch is like 42.5mm wide, and this is 48. But as you can see, the size difference isn't huge because of the way that the bezel kind of commands most of the visual size of this SUN023, which has the black shroud, versus an all steel version. And they make an all steel version of the SUN series. You can find that on their website. It doesn't wear a lot larger than the SKX, but it has a completely different presence. Not only do you get quite a bit more color in a version like this, but you get this wonderful dial depth that I'll try and show you now. So kind of like on the Seiko Astron, they've used the width of the watch to really promote a kind of three-dimensional aspect of the markers. And obviously you need a little bit of extra space to manage that fourth hand. Legibility is excellent. I really like that the hands are color matched to their scale. So the dive bezel is orange and linked up with the orange minute hand, and then the 24-hour scale for your home time is linked up with the blue 24-hour hand. Really handy feature. Also for diving, obviously you get a screw down main crown, and then you get a screw down securement on this button, which is actually the power reserve check for the kinetic movement. Additionally, you get a fairly interesting case design. It's much more intricate than that of an SKX series or the SBDC series or anything like that. You are seeing something closer to that of the kind of the shroud, the tuna divers, things like that. So you get these kind of large inset screws. You get drilled lugs. I love whatever finishing they've done on this black is fantastic. It's a very rich inky black color without losing the actual graining in the metal, and it seems quite scratch resistant. I took this diving many times, and it even took a good hard hit against the gunnel of a small dive boat in Hawaii without any issue at all. So taking away inside the SUN023 is Seiko's 5M85 kinetic movement. And so not only does that give you a 6-month power reserve, a kinetic movement basically gives you the ability to charge an electric storage device, a battery, with the motion of your wrist. So it's kind of like the combination of your typical quartz, which has a battery, and an automatic where it's going to be charged through your movements. This gives you up to a 6-month reserve, so if you back off this crown and then press this button, it will give you some indication of how much power you have. Now, where you get into something that I really love is the functionality of the movement as far as the GMT design goes. So, being a proper GMT, as in a traveler's GMT, you have the ability to, so you get a lack on the crown when it's screwed out. If you pull it out once, you get jump hour. And if you watch the date here at 4:30, it's tied with the date, and you can back it off. How cool is that? And then if you bring it out one more, keep in mind we've just adjusted the hour and the date without affecting the measure of the seconds hand, which is going to be very accurate using a quartz system in this. And you haven't moved the minute hand either, so if you land somewhere, you can do this adjustment without affecting the rate of the watch. Great feature, one of my most favorite complications. If you pull it out one more, now you get your normal setting, and this actually affects the blue home hand as well. I can understand some watch nerds may not love that it's a kinetic movement and not a fully mechanical movement, but I think when you factor in value and price and usability and the possibility of even grabbing a watch like this as kind of an adventure watch or a travel diving watch, I think you'll agree that the value is absolutely huge. So here you can see the lume on the SUN023 Kinetic Prospex diver. What are you really going to say about a Seiko diver? They always get the lume right. It's always best in class, and just like it is on the SKX series and SBDC series, it's the kind of lume that you can quite literally use all the time. Movie theaters, picking the watch up off the nightstand at night, however you like. It would work beautifully on a night dive as well. And here's the SUN023 on wrist. I think this is where most of you are going to have your doubts with this watch. Certainly when I requested to borrow one from Seiko, I figured 48 millimeters, it's going to be a cool watch, but it's going to be way too big to wear. I wore it for a week straight in Hawaii, diving, touring around Oahu. It's a fantastic travel watch. The black case and the short lugs make it feel and look a lot smaller than it is. It wears beautifully. The rubber strap is too long for my wrist, but it also would easily slide over something like the wrist cuff of a dry suit, so there is that kind of give and take there with that. This is a much nicer strap than I'm used to seeing with the more entry-level Seiko divers. It's much softer than a Z22 strap. All around very nice. As far as value, what you're looking at is a really solid movement, a very capable diver that's really nicely made and has a number of details that expand beyond something like an SKX line. And this is retailing in the US for $675. There isn't a lot of competition. Citizen makes a watch with a similar form factor, a large case GMT diver that's a little cheaper. But for my eyes, the Seiko's a much better looking watch, and there's no doubt that's the one that I would have. All in all, I really enjoyed this watch. I love taking it diving, and it's got to be one of my most favorite kind of non-mechanicals from Seiko. And in many ways, I think they've basically made an ideal platform for a travel diver's watch or kind of an everyday adventurer's watch. I don't think it's too big to wear. Certainly, we're looking at about a 6.5, 7-inch wrist in my case, and it is very comfortable. For aBlogtoWatch.com, my name is James Stacey. If you enjoy these videos, please click like, and we'll keep making as many as we can. Thanks very much for watching.